Hey everybody, before we start today's episode of Weekly Waypoint, I want to use this time before the video to talk about the recent goings on with Activision Blizzard. Well, let's just say Blizzard actually, because it's all Blizzard. I don't want to have any gameplay distracting that, but also I want to throw out there content warnings for stuff like sexism and potentially sexual assault and stuff like that. So if that's the kind of thing you don't want to be hearing about, skip ahead to the video. There will be a timestamp down below, but I'm going to start talking about it from about now. If you follow me on Twitter, you're probably no doubt aware that I am very much pissed off with certain people at Blizzard who have performed atrociously to the point where I don't particularly want to play their games anymore, even though I know that's not necessarily a healthy action. It's not something I prescribe to anyone. I'm not going to tell anyone to cancel their World of Warcraft subscription or anything, because you will end up damaging the very people who have been victimized here. But if you want to find details about the full lawsuit, you can do so easily online, but page 15 in particular is pretty fucking atrocious. I think J. Allen Brack should resign. I think Alex Afrasabi, or however you say his name, should be brought back to the chopping block and fucking, be made to fucking, I don't know, some sort of justice needs to be met out, basically. He can't be allowed to escape to Hawaii quietly, which is what he fucking did. Hopefully all of this horrible stuff being brought to light is going to be a springboard for change in the games industry, because this is not something that's unique to Blizzard. Ubisoft are looking down the barrel of the same gun for horrible things that they've been allowing people to get away with, and that their executives have been up to. And there's probably other shit we haven't heard about as well. I'm not saying I'm going to go out of my way to, veto every games company that does something awful, because at the end of the day, that again harms the people who work on the games who are being victimized in the first place. It does also harm the corporations, but it's a double-edged sword, and it's not necessarily one I want to be swinging around wildly. But given my closeness to World of Warcraft and how deeply I've involved myself in that world over the last 7 or 8 years in particular, I don't feel comfortable logging it in or even having it installed on my system or giving Blizzard money for it for the foreseeable future. If they radically clean house, like if J. Allen Brack resigns and we hear that things are getting better and all this kind of thing, then maybe in a few years I'll consider returning. But for now, I'm out. And if you watched last week's Weekly Waypoint, you know that I was getting back into World of Warcraft Classic. I was really enjoying Burning Crusade, and I spent more time in there between then and now. And I was like, I've finally found a game, to anchor me down, to keep me interested in a few months. And me not feeling like I'm able to play World of Warcraft anymore is not an important thing in this entire situation, but I'm just talking in regards to the content you're going to be seeing in future videos at this point. I did have a video, I have a video uploaded, I have a video that needs rendering, and I have a video that needs editing, so they might come out at some point in the future, but for now I'm playing some Xenoblade Chronicles, and I'm playing some Final Fantasy 12, and I might be getting back into Final Fantasy 14 at some point soon as well, so look out for all of that kind of content. Given that I don't exactly have an audience of people, more than a couple of friends who watch these videos, I don't feel like I necessarily need to preach everything I've been talking about on Twitter. So I'm going to go ahead and do an episode of a Weekly Waypoint now. But just, on the off chance this one randomly gets more views, just be good people. Just don't be a bastard. It's not hard. Your co-workers do not exist for your personal warped enjoyment. And if they're there and they're tolerating you, chances are it's just because you've given them their dream job and they want to work in the games industry, even if they have to put up with creeps like you. So, fucking stop. And obviously, if you don't work in the games industry, it still happens probably in whatever industry you work in, and if you see it, you should say something, and no matter how awkward it makes you feel, they feel 10 times worse, so just fucking ugh. Let's talk about happier things. Hello and welcome to another episode of a Weekly Waypoint. In today's video, we might as well talk about the other obsession that I've been returning to these last few weeks, and it is, in kind of a weird way, not to do with gaming, but also to do with gaming. It's Bleach, the first anime I ever watched, and it's a series that I love for all of its flaws as it went a little bit later in the series. I'm not going to ramble too much on about Bleach in general, just because I actually have a video coming out dedicated to that. It's a new style of thoughts on video called What Blank Means to Me. So What Bleach Means to Me should be coming out soon. It's already fully recorded, I just need to put the finishing touches on it and upload it and all of that jazz. But one thing I don't talk a lot about in that video, which I'm going to talk about in this video, is the way I've been getting back into Bleach, because there's no new Bleach content, there's no new Bleach stories to go and enjoy, apart from the live action movie, which I really should watch because apparently it's good, which I have no idea how they could translate that to live action and have it be good, but apparently they did. What I've been playing, seeing as we're speaking of ethically corrupt things in video games lately, is the gacha mobile game, Bleach Brave Souls, because I'm just that desperate for Bleach content. Now, nothing can excuse the fact that it's a gacha game, and I don't intend to spend any money in it, but in its defense, it's a very generous gacha game. Like, I've got a few 6-star characters that are all the way up to level 200, the ones that come with all of the pre-made gubbins on them. I'm still not a huge... I'm not very knowledgeable about the meta of this game yet, but I got those without paying a dime. But of course, you know, free stuff is just to lull you into spending more stuff. But based on the value of the stuff that I've got and how much I would have had to spend to get it, I can safely say that I'm never going to sink the kind of money into that game that you would need to in order to get that kind of a rush. But if you are the kind of person who tends to be persuaded by microtransactions and stuff like that, then I would say never touch this game, because it is a gacha game and it will eat your wallet. But I'm fine, and if that changes I will be transparent about that and update you on it. But the best way that I can sum up Bleach Brave Souls quickly is to say that it is not a good way to experience the story of Bleach, but if you have already experienced the story of Bleach, it's a fun way to re-experience the story of Bleach without just watching the anime again or just reading the manga again. The entire story is available in gameplay form, and it's quite simple, at least to start with. But then attached to that is a bunch of other stuff at the end of the story, which I haven't gotten to yet. Stuff like they turned some of the movies into game levels and campaigns, and they got a light novel, which I didn't know was a thing, and they translated that into the campaign format, so I'll be able to experience an actual canon Bleach story that I know nothing about throughout this game. On top of that, they've done some stuff which is very much not canon, and they've taken artistic license with a few things and gone, well, we've got the Soul Society, what if we had, you know, something else society? I don't remember what any of the other societies are, but they messed around with the idea of alternate dimensions and alternate versions of the characters. So for instance, I'm assuming for a Halloween event, they did some stuff for the characters, like they made a Frankenstein's monster version of Ichigo and stuff like that. And they've got a bunch of stuff like that where it's just like themed around a holiday, but they've also just got stuff like, what if this character had this power, which is a different kind of power to the one they have? What would that look like? And a few years ago I'd probably have gotten very anal about it and been like, oh, it's not canon, it doesn't matter, it's not real, all this kind of thing. But I'm just sat here looking at the art and how it affects gameplay, and I'm going, dude, that's fucking cool. I'm not playing it on mobile, by the way, I'm playing it on Steam, because I don't tend to like touchscreen controls, and on Steam, on the PC version, you can remap the controls, and you can use a gamepad for some of it as well. I've been messing around with that a bit, and yeah, I've just kind of been logging in every day. The 6th anniversary is going on right now, so you're getting a ton of free shit from that, by the way. But again, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole if you think that's going to lull you into buying some stuff, because it's not worth it. And if you're looking to do some PvP in that game, because I believe it has a PvP mode, that's just pay to win, don't bother. But PvE, again, I guess it's pay to win, but it doesn't matter because you're playing it by yourself. You just got to make sure you turn allies off when you go into a story mission, so random people don't come in and decimate before you get a chance to, you know, do any gameplay for yourself. Sorry, I should probably acknowledge this, I just realised you'll be able to pick it up in the way I'm talking. I am recording this later at night than I normally would, and yeah, that's why I sound like I'm a bit closer to the mic and I'm talking a bit more quietly. Hopefully that's not too off-putting. So yeah, I'm having a great time in Bleach Brave Souls. I'm about halfway through the Soul Society arc, and I'm wondering if they've also covered the manga's final arc, which is currently being animated as we speak. I hope. because that's how the anime's returning now, as a final arc in the manga that never got done in the anime. And I know some of those characters are in the game, but that's not quite the same as their story being in the game, so I'm hoping that's in there, because there's a lot of stuff when I was getting into Bleach for the first time again a couple of weeks ago, where I was looking up stuff that had happened in the final arc of the manga, and I was going, oh fuck, I forgot about that. I forgot what the final version of Ichigo looked like, and that's a pretty major thing. I'm also vehemently avoiding spoilers, because while YouTube comment sections don't seem to care, I do, because I'm trying to get my friend to watch it, and we're going to watch it at some point, so it's going to be cool. Also, sorry about the bizarre gameplay at this point. I got interrupted and I was talking to someone, and I forgot that happened during this match when I started recording it. On the other side of things, I recently picked up Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's not something that I'm going to sit through and play all in one go, but it is something that you're getting a video on next week, and you'll probably get another video on soon, and I'm probably just going to be plugging away at it every now and again. But I really like that game. I've always been a little bit curious about Xenoblade Chronicles, and eventually, because I follow Chugga Conroy, who's a famous Let's Player who's really good at what he does, he was one of the original ones, and he did it in more of a walkthrough style. Because of him, and he's, by the way, I mean, go check him out, he's great. I think he's the guy who got me into Pokemon all those years ago. He's been doing a exhaustive playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and eventually I kind of got worn down by all of the thumbnails that he was tweeting out, and I was like, fine, let's go watch his playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Because I am curious, and I got about 20 episodes into that, and then I realised that this second Nintendo Switch game voucher that I mentioned a few weeks ago that I'm gonna save in stock for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, that's still 5 months away. I'm gonna earn the money back easily, like many times over, to buy that game when it comes out. I mean, I made that sound like I earn loads of money, I just meant in terms of overall wages. But I don't need to be reserving that shit for months ahead of time, so instead I used it on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and I've been having a very good time exploring that game myself and seeing how it does things, and, you know, I kind of had a hankering for a very massive open world game, because the one I was playing, funnily enough, I dropped, but we've already been over that. Yesterday, I pre-ordered and downloaded the closed beta to New World, an MMO by, hello, it's the video where we talk about all the problematic games companies, Amazon Games. Well, I guess Amazon in general are a problematic thing. Everyone has their one company that they really can't stand. Like, all mega corporations are evil, right? But Amazon, that's the one I can't stand. I, like, try to stay unsubscribed from Prime Video as often as possible. I will only sub to it for like a month if something like Invincible shows up that I want to watch. But either way, I finally kind of went, well, New World looks interesting. So I bought it, I downloaded it, I played it, and I liked it. I can see what Reese loves so much about it. He loves that game. He's put so many hours into the closed beta. I messaged him once, I was like, you realise I think they wipe for progress at the end of this? He was like, oh yeah, I'm sure they do. I was like, okay, cool, just checking. But yeah, I played it. I think it's really good. It has a lot of promise, but it causes my PC to kind of redline in trying to run it at kind of low settings. Like my GPU in the system, and I'm sorry because I'm not a hardware expert at all, and this is going to come out very uninformed, but I looked at the task manager thing for it, and it was just, the graph for it was right at the top, and it was 80 degrees centigrade, which I don't know if that's normal or not when running games. I've never really bothered looking at it before, but my fan was super loud, and my PC just sounded like it was having a hell of a time running it, and I liked it, but I didn't love it, so I got a refund. I was like, I might buy this game again at some point in the future, but given that, you know, I've kind of been spoiled by my Xbox Series S, I don't love the idea that I have to almost kill my PC to run it on low settings. So, again, I'll probably play it at some point in the future if it does end up being successful and sticks around and gets content updates. That's great. But for now, it just feels a bit iffy to run, and it was distracting me the entire time I was playing it. So I got a refund on that, and I spent it instead on games I already own. Literally this evening, I bought Crash Insane Trilogy and Spyro Remastered Reignited Trilogy even on Xbox, because I have Spyro on PS4 and I have Crash on PC, but
Xbox really is my home console at this point. It's the one I want to spend the most time in, and I've been eyeing up these two games, which I already own, for months, going like, well, maybe if they go on sale. And then they go on sale, I go, well, I shouldn't really buy them for a second time. And then I eyed them up again, and it's like a constant cycle. I was just like, well, I've got £30 in refund money that I was already planning on, you know, having said goodbye to, and there's a sale on it at the minute, so I was able to get both of those games, which is 6 games really, for 30 quid, and I was like, well, fine. So maybe expect those games to pop up in miscellaneous shenanigans videos, or maybe I will just pick up the old Many Deaths of Crash Bandicoot series again, who knows, because that was kind of a precursor to all of the shenanigans style videos I made. It's funny, if you go back and watch those, because I think they're at the top of the edited videos playlist, I can go back and watch those, and by Crash 3, the editing kind of like snappiness between clips I'd kind of gotten down, but Crash 1, Crash 2 as well, but Crash 1 specifically, I wasn't cutting out dead air between the clips, and it just feels so stuttery, and kind of like the rhythm of a video feels off. I don't know if anyone else gets that when they watch it, but I'm very aware of it, and it makes it difficult for me to watch, so who knows, maybe I'll make new versions of those videos. By the way, I'm sorry about this kind of thing that's beneath my health in the Reach gameplay. I don't think there's any way to turn it off. I did press a few buttons and try, but I couldn't find any way to turn it off, so hopefully you didn't find it too distracting. I was worried it would be, but then I kind of realised I was automatically ignoring it with my eyeballs around a few minutes into the match. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for not judging my gaming decisions lately. Such as, you know, rebuying games I already own and playing a gacha mobile game with many microtransactions. I'm having an interesting one, what can I say? But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what games you've bought multiple times down in the comments section below. Remember to smash that like button. Oh my god, what am I doing?